Silent of ball! Lakewood are doing it! They're gonna take it! Gonna bring down Doherty. Alone with a double kill. Dropping fast. Monopoint's there. He's still alive! Wait, Oshek is fine. He's got one side. He's got a second. He's taking it up. They're all gonna die on three! They're all dead!
Hello everyone and welcome back. It's day number 14 here for the Summit
Radiant
2
Team
by
Ban.
G2A.com Europe. And we are well underway into our second draft here. We have 7 best of ones for you today. We just saw previously in our last matchup
Alliances
between
turn
Power
to ban.
Rangers going against Na'Vi. And what should have been a Na'Vi favorited game, Power Rangers came back strong with huge team fight and took them on down. For this matchup, however, we're going to have Alliance taking on VP.Polar. Bringing you the coverage to be myself, Kyle
10
Guy, but joining me
seconds
remotely
remaining.
is my good friend, Mr. Blaze. Blaze, are you there, my friend? Are we coming in loud and clear
5
this time?
seconds remaining.
Nope, we sure are not.
Reserve
Maybe that
time.
could be me. I'm not too sure. Maybe Blaze isn't actually back and ready. Blaze.
Radiant Team Ban. Radiant
Maybe
Team
it's on
Pick.
my end. Well, I almost should be here and good to go. Man, I was just really hoping that was just going to be smooth from the start, but this is going to be the second game straight where we're going to have to, unfortunately, get it sorted out. But anyways, with it said, Alliance taking on Virtus.Pro. I want to go ahead and bring up the record so we can get a good look at what the hell we're dealing with here. Hello? I heard noise. Blaze?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
10
dude.
seconds
Is everything
remaining.
okay?
Yeah, I'm messing with my mumble settings here. I don't use the platforms often, but
5 seconds
Yeah.
hopefully I can get it so
remaining.
that you don't get my fan, but you do get me.
No, of course, of
And-
course. And you sound good right now, my friend.
Reserve time.
Cool. So, yeah, looking at this matchup, I'm really excited to see what the two sides have in store for us. I mean, Alliance are going to open up with the Wisp here, which is one. Obviously, they don't have EGM piloting it, but they're still very familiar with playing around it.
Alliances turn
And
to
in the
pick.
right hands, that can do a lot of work, especially with the Slark here. We saw what Slark can do in that last game. Man, that's such a good hero. And with attack speed and survivability through overcharge, he can just do the impossible. Like, this hero is just going to be the 007. He's going to be the one who can go in and just make amazing things happen. It's really, should just film a cinema out of it. But anyways, beyond that, Virtus.Polar, they are a little bit handicapped here.
Radiant
They're missing their
team
draft here.
pick.
They're no Godblack. It makes me so sad because it's like my favorite aspect of this team. But Axmo seems to be well enough stand-in. I'm looking at some of his recent statistics. He's played on Screen Squad and a couple of other teams. He's
Alliances
taken
turn to
games off of
pick.
Tier 2 teams, so we'll see how he fares up against Alliance here.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and I agree with you. I mean, Goblack's been, a regular, well-renowned innovator in his own right with some of his drafts that he throws together. But now that captain's hat's going to be passed over to Illidan for this matchup against Alliance, and yeah, I mean, just kind of
Radiant
echo what you're
team
talking about with
ban.
Slark. I mean, a hero that it used to be widely just profiled as a snowball kind of hero, needs to get a lot done early on to make a big. But man, his late game is just clearly showing that it is right up there with everyone else. I've seen him time and time again taking down the big titans of
10
Medusa in a
seconds
game. We
remaining.
just saw Havo's gyrocopter fall before him, and with a great backing
5
behind
seconds
this
remaining.
player, Power Rangers look really, really solid. But no more about Power Rangers. I'm getting
Reserve
too much on the
time.
Power Ranger hype train as it is. But Alliance now building up on top of that,
Alliances
said
turn
Slark. They
to
got that
ban.
IO, of course. Dragon Knight now to add a little bit of extra pushing spiciness, if you will, in that mid lane. And, of course, Earthshaker, a well-renowned support who can kind of add a lot from even afar. And, of course, big team fight. Great initiation once you manage to throw together that Blink Dagger. But overall, top to bottom,
10
fantastic
seconds
support
remaining.
nonetheless. Now, for the matchup here, Alliance
5
pretty
seconds
far
remaining.
behind. I pretty much want to guarantee that if they lose this matchup, they are going to be out
Reserve
of the
time.
running of even getting a hold of a playoff spot. They're currently sporting a 2-6 record. Once you reach that 7th loss, I mean, you're out and done. So Alliance are pretty much fighting for their tournament life if they can even manage to pull themselves into a tiebreaker situation. For Virtus.Pro, however, they're currently sporting a respectable 5-3 record. So they're sitting pretty right now. If they get another win, it secures them more into the top 4 position because we got to get into those playoffs. And then that one team that makes their way through will be the one that move on to the LAN finals here at the Beyond the Summit House.
Yeah. But when your back's up against the wall, when you have to make every game count, then you certainly will. You'll be able to power through it and hopefully bring us a huge game here. Even if they don't take the win, whether or not they do, they certainly are going to put up a hell of a
Radiant
fight. So
team
looking forward to see what they can accomplish. But looking over at the way the VP.Polar are responding to this draft, I'm curious what they are really looking for here. Right now, they don't have anything in terms of ground target disable. Like, you look at the Dream Coil as potentially some way to kind of chain the hound that is the Slark. The Scarlet can drop down the Mystic Flare on top of things like the Chakram, so there's a lot of damage and there's some slow, but in the end, they don't have
10
hard
remaining.
stuns. They don't have a Burrow Strike to hit the ground. They don't have a ways to react with like disruptions
5
or
seconds
decrepifies or
remaining.
things like that. In the end, Slark is going to have a lot of time on his target during Shadow Dance, and that means
Reserve
that
time.
they're going to have to weather that 4-second storm and come out kicking on the other side. I think the Skywrath definitely has to go for maybe a double nil tally mechanism build up here because they do need some survivability. And then after that 4 seconds is over, they should be able to bring the fight in full.
Yeah, I'm curious as well how they're going to round this out. It's not your typical kind of lockdown potential that you usually like to have with the burst that Skywrath Mage brings. Yeah, Coil can do so much, but they still have a little bit of freedom to kind of move around and get the job done. So they're lacking a little bit of that. They grabbed the Timber Saw, who kind of feels like just an immediate counter to make sure he can take care of that pesky little Wisp ball, because if you let that Wisp kind of go free roam, you're going to have a hard time now. As far as who this Wisp is intending to be the partner with, that could still be remain here for their final grab, who banking, actually, as it looks like, would be an offlaner. So I'm curious if they can go for something like a Legion Commander as an offlane and kind of work that together with the Wisp a little bit. But I don't know, Bulldog's a big Legion Commander player. This could just instead end up being, well, Nature's Prophet, Batrider, Lone Druid all banned
Yeah, a
out.
lot
He
of
still has
bans.
Clockwork, I guess. That could be a potential grab in someone he typically goes to.
I'd like Darkseer here, to be honest. With the Earthshaker with the Dragonite, you have so much potential for the AoE Wombo combo, and I think that would be really, really nice. Of course, you can also try to slip away from the early Ignite and Concussive Shot movement with the Surge. So
Now-
I think that...
Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
mean to I just like Darkseer. I love Darkseer as well.
10
If this is a
seconds
melee
remaining.
core, I would say Darkseer 100% of the way. I guess I would just
5
kind of fear for his
seconds
laning phase, and
remaining.
look who it is. I mean, Darkseer would be nice here. Ion
Alliance's
Shell could give
turn to
Anti-Mage a
pick.
pretty hard time in that safe lane, trying to build in the farm, because he's already going to be harassed back very easily from Skywrath Mage in the meantime, and even Ogre can be like a true bouncer for that lane. So Darkseer is going to need something to kind of bring in farm reliably. Ion Shell works good, and it also helps prevent Anti-Mage from getting a whole lot done. With that grab, I back you up on that idea, but I don't know if Bulldog is comfortable playing it. We'll have to see if it's going to be that or maybe an old tried and true like Clockwork
10
or something.
seconds remaining.
There's just so many offlaner bans. Taking out Tide, Centaur, taking
Yeah.
out Brewmaster,
5
taking out
seconds
Void,
remaining.
Yeah, we're going down that
Furion,
list.
Batrider, Lone Druid. Like, it's just so insane. Like, how do you actually feel confident going into it
Reserve
other than an
time.
aggro try? You don't want to aggro try a Wisp because there's no guarantee that he'll get the experience he needs to get the level 6. He also underemphasizes room control, which I think is a pretty important part of the hero. But they go with the Doom here. Very powerful in his own right against the Anti-Mage. If you get the Doom on the AM and follow that up with a single stun or a pounce, then you're feeling pretty good. The reason they pick up Anti-Mage here is because he's so good against Slark. He actually just can literally blink out of the pounce chain. There's nothing stopping him. But you get a silence, you get a stun, and that might be the death of the Anti-Mage that they sorely need. So I'm liking the draft from both sides to an extent, but it does seem a little greedy from Alliance's side.
The one thing I will say, Doom works fantastically against Anti-Mage, but it also works really good against most of the other heroes. Works great against Ogre, shuts him down to pretty much being a creep and not being able to dish out anything whatsoever.
Prepare for battle.
Timbersaw obviously hates silence to start with, so he just becomes absolutely terribly useless. So there are a lot of targets there, and if they kind of preemptively use one of the Dooms, that could be a bit troublesome to allow one of these other heroes to kind of roam free. I mean, you'd think, okay, well, we got to get the Anti-Mage and lock him down, but that leaves Timbersaw to kind of go in full blast, and there's really no other silence on the team to stop him from doing so. So that's the one drawback I see from getting the Doom there, as far as making sure you have the right target at the right time, and it doesn't end up coming back to bite you in the ass. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and not to mention Scandal's Puck. Like, that's something that's absolutely scary. A hero to player pairing. Putting such an aggressive hero, a hero that can play the opposition like a fiddle here, and putting it in the hands of Scandal, who's just this aggressive player, loves to go in and really just toe the line between life and death and make the big plays happen. I really think the Doom almost has to come out on Scandal in order to have a semblance of control of the team fight. Other than that, it's BKB City once again. We know that although it is very powerful against a lot of VP.Polar's heroes, that it does wane towards the mid to late game when you go down to 5 seconds. So we'll see. I think that should probably be a second or third item for the Slark, the Dragonite, but definitely not a rush.
Certainly agree with that. So with that said, we've gotten underway. This is the second game of 7 that we have for you
30
today here for the
seconds to
Summit 2
battle.
by G2A.com Europe. On day number 14, we're getting that much closer to the back end of this round-robin stage, and we'll find out which 4 teams are going to be moving on into the playoffs. I'll lead your introductions off. We got the Radiant side. It's VP.Polar. Now, they are missing their captain, Goblak, and are going to be sporting a stand-in. This draft has been thrown together by the current and temporary captain, Illidan. So, starting up the top lane, it's Scandal, who looks like we'll be flirting around with a mid-lane pluck. We
The
got
battle begins.
Mr. Lil Tesoro, who's actually going to be trying to duke a little bit of damage onto Ake, who just tethers up to the high ground. Loda, he's playing your Ogre Magi. Mid lane actually will be the Timber Saw, so they do flip the script a bit and throw Timber into the mid lane from his usual off lane position. It's going to be DK Phobos. On the bottom lane, it's going to be Mr. Axmo, who's going to be playing your Skywrath Mage, and that will leave, of course, Illidan himself playing your Anti-Mage.
Yep, so I'm curious to see what this top lane can accomplish. A lot of potential nuke damage coming out here. Against Loda, he brought 3 Tangos as well as a Sav, and then obviously Ake is going to be looking to give him the bottle, or at least the tether regen from that bottle. But at least for now, Scandal and Lil put out some level of pressure that makes it more difficult for Loda to find the CS early, and Illidan, on the other hand, is not going to have that issue. Bulldog has no presence in this lane whatsoever, so Illidan will have the time of his life farming away, and Loda might be encumbered just a little bit.
Yeah, I really like the lane setup right here from Virtus.Pro, throwing the Timber in the mid lane. He definitely fares pretty nicely against this DK. Even with that Dragon's Blood, he only has so much sustain that could deal with what Timber Saw. And in trade, Timber Saw has his own bit of beefiness, of course, with the reactive armor. So they'll kind of respectively farm each other out a bit until they get more levels online. Maybe with the aided of rotation support coming on through, they can go for objective on a kill. But like you said, man, bottom lane, it's Bulldog who's getting zoned back pretty damn hard from Skywrath Mage. Now down to 2 trees to work with. Misery is going to be joining his side in aid just in case. Top lane with the Ogre being by the aid of Puck, allowing her to build in that farm. He goes with the early Fire Blast, but once he starts getting Ignite, I casually expect him to just kind of keep throwing that out there. Ignite can do pretty relentless damage even early on as far as withering down little cores from trying to get their farm.
Yeah. Now, one thing that they know about the strategy of Alliance is that Misery is going to be actually kind of supporting them bottom. By picking up the Doom here in the Dire off lane, you know that he needs a little bit of assistance. The Fisher block in particular. Actually, Bulldog taking a few pot shots from the Skywrath, but nothing going to be lethal here. But yeah, in this situation, Misery had to commit on the Earthshaker. Actually, going to commit with the Fisher.
Rotates
Nice.
in with the Fissure.
got the
Axmo
movement
might be
speed,
in
though.
trouble. He is flirting with danger, but of course Alliance do commit the rotation over to that point, furthering allow Illidan to just kind of go toe-to-toe with this full creep wave without much contention. But still, they're making a hunt. It's going to be Ogre shows up with a convenient haste, and oh, he gets blocked briefly from the Fissure, but at the same exact time, it's Misery who turns around and takes out Skywrath just behind that. And still, Ogre using the back end of this haste to try to get on out. It will expire just as he gets back on his side, but it will be Polar who hand over the first blood. Alliance grabs it up right there, and it will be Earthshaker benefiting from the bonus gold.
Yeah, Misery should not have been involved in that at all. I think Axmo, should not have been involved in that at all. The Skywrath, he just tried to jump in and he's like, okay, well, I could get some good assist gold and experience out of this, but these are just too low. He should have just taken the fact that he was able to get away and taken solace in that fact alone, but instead, he feeds the first blood. The nice Fisher prevents the Ogre from finding it, and now they just go back to the status quo. I think their lanes are better in general because they are confident in what Scandal can accomplish up top, and of course you look at the matchup in mid. Timbersaw versus Dragonite. Dragonite can still get some CS through the Breathe Fire and maybe a bit of Bottle Crow, but even still the Timber's going to have a huge CS advantage just naturally with that Whirling Death.
He's going to get the same solo XP he loves to get a hold of. The more levels early, the merrier, and then he can really be able to unleash his fury as he will, I would expect, advance towards getting a hold of those arcane boots with a little more resources to work with. He can unleash a big fury, getting a hold of that chakram grab. So we'll
nice
see
Fisher again down bottom.
Yeah, Fissure's going to lock Axmo into a corner position where he's going to have to migrate through the trees to get away from this pesky Doom who's chasing him down with this Scorched Earth. It's just slowly withering him away, a slow roast, if you will, on this chicken. He is able to kind of step back, and Illidan returns back to his laning position, and Slow-Mo's realizing that he cannot play too aggressive. He loves to kind of get into the fray, but it already came back to bite him on the ass one time.
But even just 1 point in the mana break on Illidan is able to completely dry the Doom. Like, he's gonna pop a Clarity here, gonna get 1 more Devour out, but in general, just the Anti-Mage against a low mana pool, he's able to completely nullify you, essentially permanently silencing your hero because you just don't have the resources to commit to spells. In this sense, Doom doesn't really have much he can do in the lane. He'll, again, get 1 more Devour, maybe a Scorched Earth out with that Clarity. But Illidan's got a pretty good level of control over the lane, and Axmo can focus on the neutral jungle. He's gonna pull, he's gonna do his thing, so they're winning really hardcore on mid and bottom, since the first blood is, you know, as the game goes by, it matters less and less. And up top, they're doing perfectly fine against Loda. He's still up to 24 CS, and he is gonna be able to pick up some early durability with the treads.
And Puck on the other side has a 13, now 14 and 3 CS. Not too shabby for what could have been originally just a solo Puck on its own
Radiant's
right.
top tower is
Elusive
under attack.
seems to be one of the key factors here for Virtus Pro's kind of a lineup. I mean, Puck top lane's hard to get a hold of as it is. Timbersaw has the Timber Chain to kind of fall back on, and even he gets caught out with like a loose line fissure, which could be the case here as they're creeping on through. Doom at the ready to kind of make an engagement happen. But they're not looking to commit just yet. He can always fall back on a level 2 Timber Chain to get him back on his side. So this is going to be a hard grab to go for in its own right.
Really
but they're
difficult.
waiting. They're waiting real patiently for it. And then just to kind of keep on that, bottom lane has Anti-Mage, who is already slippery as it is. So where's Polar, man? I mean, they have a lot of mobility on their side. I'm curious to see how they're going to make it work.
There
Now
we
he
go.
goes forward, they pop the trigger, and they're going to go ahead and pull out Dragon Form. The Timber Chain's up and away, and if the Fissure is going to lock him in place, Dragon Tail follow up, and it secures that takedown. And it will be Timbersaw, maybe as elusive as you think, but he goes down. They do get the nice return kill, however, on Bulldog.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Even though it is a big kill to bring down the Timbersaw here, I don't even know if it's worth it. The amount of time that Admiral Bulldog was just sitting there, not doing anything. I mean, not like he's going to get much out of the bottom lane, but he'd at least get that experience. And in this case, they lose the Doom for the Timbersaw, which isn't the worst trade. It's definitely a losing trade, but all the same, the amount of time invested by Alliance and the amount of free farm Illidan got in its stead, I would have to say that they're okay with that exchange. And obviously the Timbersaw is right back to the races here. The 8 Brother does get a nice double damage rune, so that'll help him out on the lane, but his Dragon Form will be expiring, and yeah, he doesn't have that much to contribute.
Playing pretty aggressive here, Alliance, top lane, just the balls to scout out where Scandal's working with here on the side, and still making it count for now, protecting his tower, bouncing on through. Loda, though, gets a hold of him. It's going to force him to orb back and away, so Puck now expends a little bit of his ability to just try to step on back, and they're just continuing to assert their dominance in the top lane, which they desperately need because mid maybe has gotten to a point where it could be just a bit of a stalemate with the assisted gank, but it's Bulldog who's struggling a bit on the bottom, and he's still looking for more action here. Not level 6, no Doom available for him, but still migrating through the jungle. I guess just using Devour in the meantime. He's kind of just falling behind slowly here with 9 and 1 CS and allowing AM to kind of have full control and putting him at the top of the CS, 51 and 19. Hopefully it's something that isn't proved to be too troublesome down the road for Alliance.
Handle up top in a little bit of trouble here. The Pounce will come through and connect, so they're going to try to fish here, but a phase shift to John is perfect from Scandal. Man, he is in a difficult position because there's actually about a half a second time frame where if he gets stunned and the orb goes away, expires, that he's caught, leashed, and unable to escape. So has to be careful there, but the Earthshaker not able to get the Fissure off as he needed to, and it's just going to be
Radiant's
a simple
top
push here.
tower
Orb
is
will
under
come through
attack.
from Scandal, and it should be enough to keep the tower
Dire's
alive.
bottom tower
And
is
along
under
with that, of
attack.
course, they're making things happen across the map otherwise. Ape Mother does pop another Elder Dragon Form just to get some chip damage with that Corrosive Breath, but I have to say, it's not going to be really threatening that Tier 1 that directly. DK Phobos, though, might be in some trouble.
Yep, 8-minute rune pops up. It's a regen that he unfortunately won't be able to get a hold of, and now he's committed into a fight. He wants to get a hold of Ake, but that Wisp can move pretty damn quick, and now they tether back. They slow him down, but here comes Puck. Timber ends up going down to the Dragon Knight. 8-Mother rotates up to the north to get a part of this, and look who comes from the high ground, almost jumping from the mezzanine will be Loda. 8-Mother cleans it on up and grabs a double kill for himself. Fortunate for DK Phobos, a rune investment he wishes he was never a part of.
Absolutely. This is a really good move.
Dire's bottom
predicting
tower is
VP
under
Polar when they're
attack.
out off the lane. They know they can't kill Timbersaw when he's got the jungle behind him, when he's just sitting next to his tower. But in this situation, they can kind of single him out
Dire's
when
bottom
he's at his
tower
most
is
vulnerable
under
point. And now
attack.
they've got the Doom on top. So you get 1 Pounce plus 1 Doom, and you've got a kill. And I think that for that reason, Admiral Bulldog and Loda should both be looking at Blink Daggers. If they both get Blinks, you can just instantly kill somebody if they're by themselves. You just Doom, Pounce, there's nothing you can do.
Misery lingering around the mid lane area for now as Phobos is making his return. He's finally going to be able to bring together what looks like his arcane bolts momentarily, but looking to potentially grab something was your Ogre creeping on forward, but ultimately Ape Mother well behind, has low mana to work with as it stands. Meanwhile, top lane, Loda continuing to kind of keep Puck back from getting engaged in anything. Puck has another 13 seconds before he'll have the coil available at the use here, and we could look to see Virtus.Pro continue to go on the offensive as long as they can draw attention away from the bottom lane, make fights happen on the mid and top. You know, I think they're okay with taking it to the late game here. We already talked about in the draft the matchup between the AM and the Slark going towards AM on paper. And Illidan, with the farm he has already, I mean, you're talking about 30 CS, even above Loda's Slark. And Loda's a guy who definitely knows how to bring in the farm. Illidan's been having a heyday here. He's got his Perseverance together and about to pick up his next component towards that Battle Fury.
I actually think it's an interesting power curve between those two carries. I think Anti-Mage actually is definitely going to be dominant 35 to 40 minutes in the game, but you get 50, 60 minutes in, and Slark actually wins out the longest of terms. Now, Admiral Bulldog in a really bad spot, though, and they do have the ultimate of Mana Boy, so he can't compete. He's just going to go down, but Loda comes in too.
And nice little relocate comes through, and they don't take one. They take two now. Illidan quickly cleans out Ake's Wisp. And now it's just leaving Loda behind, who's looking for a kill on the Ogre, but now he's going to force a retreat, but he walks himself into a coil, nicely set up from Scandal, and they clean him up and take him out. Huge, huge fight right there for Virtus.Pro, and maybe a misjudgment of play there. As the relocate does come in, it's just a little too late, and Doom, who had already hit the deck, now they lose their Wisp and their precious Slark.
Yeah, they overestimated the survivability of Admiral Bulldog at this stage in the game, and they underestimated the willingness of Scandal to rotate at the perfect time. Getting that Dream Coil, securing those kills, Alliance are pretty much losing out on everything they have played in the last couple of fights. They had a couple of really good ganks. They got some nice kills, but maybe going to lose Ape Mother too as he gets hit by the Chakram.
He's getting chased down now from Phobos. He was looking to go back and maybe get at least something in the Skyrack, but Exmo's now onto it. He's not going to hand him over too easy this time. Steps away, and they are able to take down the DK. So getting more even from the mid lane on top of what happened bottom. VP.Polar starting to take this right back. It was almost
Radiant's
at one point your 2K gold advancement towards Alliance. Now going right back in control towards Virtus.Pro-Polar. I mean, you talk about a bit how much Slark can bring to the late game. Virtus.Pro also have a little bit of extra bonus
Radiant's
on top. I mean, you got to consider Ancient Seal in conjunction with, let's say, Ogre manages to throw together at some point a nice little luxury Agnum Scepter. You're talking multi-blast out to Wazoo on top of an Ancient Seal could be pretty hefty burst if there's no BKB on hand for Alliance.
I think a big aspect of their burst right now is actually going to be the Whirling Death on the Timber Saw. It's very easy to underrate, but Alliance have 4 strength heroes. They have Slark and Agility, but everyone else is doing, oh my god.
I think Loda was there for a second, but he's gone now, and my god, they followed up with another easy takedown of Wisp. That got so aggressive so quick. It just took the simple coil lockdown, Mystic Flare, and I think even Ogre got a multicast on that one. It was just everything to take down Loda.
Like an illusion. Like, that was just ridiculous how much damage they can do.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, condolences to Loda's Slark family right there as he does go down, and with that is Wisp, and still continuation of pressure coming out from Virtus.Pro. This is the window of opportunity for them to have a huge mid-game presence with the Timbersaw you were going into, as well as Puck setup, but now they're looking to fire back here. Looks like Scandal takes himself just a bit away, but jumping on through is going to be the Slark now with the relocate. They're looking to fire back. They get a nice Echo Slam, but it doesn't ultimately take down anyone except the Timber. Illidan's in on the action. Teases a bit with the fight, then we'll blink on out, and your relocate will send Ake back to his base, and now, with that, Alliance looking to segue towards this Tier 1 tower, but look who's turning the corner and going towards Bulldog. It's Illidan. One more right click could do it. The fissure slows him a bit, but Scandal will be able to clean it on up. Now Illidan, relatively low mana, gets himself away, but meanwhile behind you see Loda trying to get a hold of Ogre. Ogre TP's on the way, but they're not going to be so lucky with Puck. Puck goes up towards the enemy side and ultimately gets taken care of by Ake.
Yeah. I like the relocate play there, but I honestly don't think they got as much as they wanted to for their investment. They get 2 kills in total. Timber and Puck are core heroes, so delaying the blink tag run of them and, of course, getting the nice level of solo experience is going to be good, but still, Alliance, they need to really get this foothold across the enemy's territory. They take a Tier 1, that's a good start, but I think the Tier 1 bottom is something they really need to look into sieging very soon, because Anti-Mage is about to just open up wide in his jungle with a Battle Fury. Lil's going to be stacking up for the Anti-Mage here on the western front of the Radiant jungle, and this Anti-Mage is going to get absolutely out of control. He's actually going to steal a nice little easy stack right here, and yeah, Illidan is about to just explode in terms of GPM.
Yeah, it's going to get out of control real quick. We'll see if in that time frame, VP.Polar can try to put a lid on this game, and for Alliance, they're going to need to have to bounce back that much harder after the end of those couple of engagements, getting a little bit out of that mid lane relocate, but not enough to really kind of be sitting pretty here, as it's still Illidan who lives on, is still farming on up, getting to that point. Timbersaw now is built up. He's got his point booster on hand, looking to get closer to that Bloodstone, a little bit extra sustain with the added bonus of Agnum's now. He's a hero that can add a little bit more in the late game, not only as far as hefty damage and slow, but as well as wave clearing ability. The bottom lane rather, looks like VP.Pro. They rotate in, they smoke up, and they might bait out Scandal here into something where they can look to make a bite. As 8 Mother and Doom both looking to make something happen in their own right. They're going to cross paths right now. They scout each other out. Ogre gets doomed up from Bulldog, and he's second-guessing how he's going to commit for this one, now seeing that the puck is already there. And lingering behind is your Skywrath Mage. But looking to rotate on through is going to be Misery. Coming in from behind, gets spotted out. Axmo will see him here. Turns back. There's the Fidra. Catches Scandal and Axmo in place. Can they burst down the puck? Puck makes it to the low ground. Axmo not going to be so lucky with relocate coming in. Loda and company in the full Alliance squad. Looking to take a big fight here on the bottom. Desperation TP not going to go off. Thank you very much. Level death. Even an Echo Slam as a cherry on top will be able to take him down. And it's still going to be only 2 supports and a tier 1 tower for the full Alliance team almost to be in this bottom lane.
Yeah, but they really need these kills. It's really good that they got this tower and got this kill. As I mentioned, it's kind of suppressing the anti-mage a bit. By taking down that tier 1, he feels less comfortable in his own jungle. He's actually going to farm the enemy jungle even more often. Ake, though, will put their way. Good tether timing. Oh, that would have been really bad. Just a nice little kill for Illidan. Instead, he just goes ahead, farms up a single stack of Ancients, and he's going to have his Yasha here momentarily. Now, one thing that I want to mention as far as the tempo of this game is Alliance just went for 2 14-minute Midases. One on Loda, one on Admiral Bulldog. The 2 heroes that I thought could go for Blink Daggers and find some easy picks. You go for the Doom Pounce, you get the guaranteed kill. But in this case, they kind of tone it down a little bit. It's not going to be as aggressive. Oh, Misery. Oh, Illidan's going to back off. Not getting too greedy.
Yeah, Ake's right there. He's got to burn even. Ooh, Pounce. Last second blink out, but that blink out will be able to save Alliance, or AA rather, regardless. So, elusive as ever. Illidan getting in and out with a few pot shots here. If he can take down a soul support, that'd be that much better mid lane. Maybe taking out supports. It's going to be supports taking out the DK here. They bring him on back and they stun him. They'll just use the Mana Void to finish him off, and Illidan picks it up. And yeah, bottom lane, they continue. They move on through. They get a hold of the puck right there. Nice relocate coming on in, and with Bulldog being there, he definitely benefits from a little bit extra golden XP, which he certainly needed. But now VP.Pro, they're not going to be there in time to scout out the relocate, unfortunately. And
Dire's courier has been killed.
Actually going to fall here.
Dire's structures
Dire's side,
are
I don't see where it
fortified.
goes down, but it's carrying $800 worth of cargo.
Yeah, just in the tree line there, Illidan able to pick that up, and the Soul Ring is not going to be delivered out to Ake here. He was looking to infuse his team with a lot of mana here, with a Soul Ring on the Wisp. Just trying to make sure that maybe Bulldog always has the mana for the Doom, something of that sort, but not happening. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Midas tempo from Alliance. Like, they picked up the Midas and on the Slark and the Doom at about 14 minutes here, and I thought that would actually limit their potential to get ganks off, because they don't have Blink Daggers, they can't just jump in and find those opportunities. But as soon as they picked up those 2 Midases, they got 2 kills in a tower, and then they made that nice relocate play on Scandal with the Doom. So, in the end, we still see the Slark Blink Dagger coming out at a great time here for Loda, and Bulldog's right there as well if he wants it. He's at 1750 right now, so with the power
Dire's
of the Midas plus Devour and a couple of nice
denied.
kills from the Slark, it actually means that they can go for the Midas, go for the greedy play, and still not limit their tempo. They're limited on stats right now a little bit, but as far as mobility, as far as getting into the fights the way they want to, they have all the tools they need.
I'm curious to see if they'll be able to enhance those tools even further. Misery, being the most selfless one on his team, is getting damn near 1,700 gold, so he'll have his blink sure enough, and that adds even more initiation factor to their team. And if you put that together with Doom, who could invest into a Blink Dagger next, now having 2k gold, Alliance will be able to have a good surprise factor on their side also available, and being able to get away from maybe your already pesky pucks and timber saws and anti-mages will certainly help nonetheless. So it looks like both teams considering a possible future engagement, more of a late game presence here, as still the big farmer in the game stands as anti-mage Illidan, who didn't go with a Midas build obviously like the Slark did. Still has a Yasha, still has Battle Furies near 3k gold. He's he's building up a lot for himself, man, and I'm curious to see how long they're going to wait before they try to unleash the beast.
Well, 3 a.m. is upon us soon. He's got this double stack, and he's practically to the Manta style, so in a great position to unleash that one very soon indeed. And right now, Alliance are actually pretty vulnerable in terms of taking physical damage. If you think about the Manta style illusions, they do physical damage with the mana break, and it's a nice little bonus there, 60% of 64 per hit. So when you look at the fact that Wisp only has 1 armor, Earthshaker only has 4, and even the Doom with Tranquils only has 5, like these are heroes that die very, very quickly to the right clicks of this anti-mage. So physical damage on the mana break, really going to help them out here as there's just no armor to speak of from Alliance. They don't have a Basilius, they don't have a Buckler, and they're actually going to Green Coil Illusion.
Got that illusion though. They use the coil, unfortunately, on Ake's illusioned ball in the top lane. So with a coil down, press on in and get a hold of the tier 1 tower. It is going to be a trade, however, for the tier 2. It looks like on bottom, where Dragon Form has already popped, and they're looking to take it on home. A little bit extra gold available to them here, even with Ake here. They'll take it down pretty dang quick. Be a nice secure grab and trade.
Really interesting pickup for Misery here. He wants to do the Rat Slayer. He is picking up BOT's first on Earthshaker over Soul Ring. With the mana sustain from Soul Ring and the mobility of this 50-second free teleport from Boots of Travel, he can always rotate back to his base to stop Illidan from pushing. Because Illidan right now, he just wants to split push, he wants to force TPs back, but the BOT TP isn't too costly, and he will be able to hold the line. In the meantime, on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Loda jumps all the way on in, gets a hold of Ogre, and quickly takes him down. Now Loda dominating on his Slark, still 8 Mother though, trapped inside the base behind his own fissure. Now silenced up, but still in Dragon Form. He's going to get chopped down briefly from a chakram, but they are able to walk out unscathed after taking down that little support. They can't add a whole lot towards the tower, though they do manage to bring down that tier 3 to half life. More than enough here for Alliance as they walk on back and away from this one. We'll see how long they decide to wait before maybe going towards this Roche here. They could feel pretty confident at this point to scout it on out, but yeah, Misery being able to bounce back quickly to stop Anti-Mage from pushing in with that Boots of Travel is pretty nice. I mean, Anti-Mage as it stands is not the strongest of hero. This Manta Grab adds a little bit of stats, but still 1,200 life. Even a good Echo coming out could bring Anti-Mage pretty damn low, and with the relocate to follow up, they could take out Anti-Mage pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think that it's really important that they play reactively and make sure that the Anti-Mage doesn't get too out of control. Like, they're not going to kill him. They know that. He's got plenty of HP. Unless they can get Doom and connect on him that way, he's going to survive. So as long as he stays away from Bulldog's blink range, then he's feeling pretty good to just keep farming away. But if they have to make a choice between pushing and defending, it's better to make the Earthshaker be the one that falls back. But now Illidan catches sight of Misery.
About to cross paths. Misery moves forward, but quickly gets silenced and ripped apart from Illidan. Now Loda is opened up on. Zoning Mystic Flare while the coil's caught right in the middle. It's 8 Mother, BK beat up with low life, trying to make it work, but Illidan focus fires Loda, takes him down, double kill for him, now turns towards Ake, who's going to fall next, even doomed up, he's ready to go. And he cleans out 3 very easily, a triple kill for him. They take down 4 all day, only Bulldog to survive, has to walk himself back into the base, and now Virtus Pro move forward and will secure a tier 2 tower.
Dire's top tower is under
really
attack.
interesting to note that was the Doom on the Anti-Mage. He still got the triple kill because he gets the Manta illusions out early, and because there's obviously no Ags on Bulldog, the mana break is still in full effect.
Yep.
So this hero is able to just do whatever the hell he wants. It's literally just a silence and a 20-second pure damage, or now it's a 35-second pure damage He shrugs that off, he takes the kills anyways, and now they're breaking the base. They might not take it here. They're afraid of the Echo Slam, of course, but I mean, being able to do that against the Doom, it just really shows the 6.82 nerfs in action there. Doom not feeling the presence of his ability at this stage in the game.
No, certainly not, and part of the reason we've seen the hero fall off quite a bit is while you have all the other heroes here who are just as popular, considering your Faceless Void, your Phantom Assassin, these heroes that have huge passives. I mean, hell, even Brewmaster, that Doom is not going to work the same way it used to. And we're seeing the repercussions of it right here as VP.Polar pulling a big fight. Plus, it certainly helps that they got the huge early pick off there on Misery before he can get anything done. That quick silence coming out from Skywrath Mage, and the follow-up from Illidan allows them to take him down immediately. No Echo, the bottom lane, they're relocating. They want to get a hold of Skywrath Mage. They work for it. They do get it. They're investing quite a bit. Now Loda in a bit of trouble here. Still 6 more seconds before he's sent back. He's actually going to pull out the Shadow form, but Illidan pressing forward. Obviously not going to get a hold of him as he gets pounced up right before they relocate away.
That's good. They want to avoid the fight for another 45 seconds, get Shadow Dance back up and available, and also pick up the Scotty. I think that Loda wants to buy out here because waiting for buyback plus Scotty, it would just be too slow. Like, this Anti-Mage is actually getting big. Like I mentioned, the power curve right now, he's nearing that peak. Right now, he'll pick up one more item, maybe a Butterfly, and then he is going to be as big as... Not as big as he can be, obviously, but as big as he can be relative to Alliance's entire team. So they want to make sure that they have all their guns locked and loaded here and now, and I think that Scotty needs to be picked up ASAP, and they need to make more cool relocate plays like that. The next big thing is the Roshan.
On Phobos, bottom lane, to get a nice Fissure, follow-up Doom and Echo. Already 2 ultimates committed for this one. They will right-click home Phobos, who is just thrown into a corner and unmercifully handled.
Man.
Right in the neutral camp. My God, his for Timbersaw, ironically enough, stuck right next to trees, which he hates all of his life. He'll continue to hate him that much more.
But he gets a quick respawn out. The Bloodstone was at 10 charges, so he has like literally a 12-second respawn, and he's right back into it. So they don't get to go into Roche off of that. The Doom is on cooldown for 65 seconds, and Illidan can maybe Mana Void him. Oh no, doesn't get a range for the Mana Void in time. So it is going to be an escape for the Bulldog. But yeah, I think they need to be looking at getting the Aegis up now that they have the Scotty. And I mean, they're okay taking this into the mid to late game because of the Midas and because of how well Aghanim's Refresher Doom can be and how well Slark can work with 6 slots. But they need a little bit more. They're going to go on Phobos here.
Yep, they jump in, nice pounce, locks him in place. He quickly Timber chains away. And he's going to make him really work for it. This is going to allow some rotations to come. And because of those rotations, it's going to prevent Loda from pursuing. And he quickly pulls back towards Ake. Not going to be as quick of a pickoff as you hope. Maybe just a little bit of harassment. But they quickly smoke back now. And they're looking to see if they can catch Loda farming on the way out. But he's actually not. He just kind of goes all the way back towards his side. They might even know this is coming. They just quickly get on out of there. They're still creeping on through here. Not going to be catching anyone, and now a smoke even coming out from Alliance's side. They are just one step ahead, literally, of this small smoke group from behind here, Virtus Pro. And there we go, concussive shot leads off here. They want to get a hold, but they could end up into a bad pickle. Jumping on back and behind, it's going to be Loda going for Axmo. Axmo is going to get quickly taken down. Mysticler will end up coming out, but Misery also very low. Ogre realizes that he is in a bad situation and gets quickly taken down. And now Loda grabs a hold of a double kill for himself. Very questionable engagement after having no vision on the rest of the Alliance squad. They try to get a hold of Bulldog quickly, but they just fire back immediately. And no, Illidan runs right into their hands. He's going to be forced to pull out the BKB. Does get the kill, however, on Misery before he makes his way out. Well, the power of the AM with that BKB, he's able to just make a swift escape, grabbing 1 support.
Yeah, Illidan's insanely farmed right now. 18,000 net worth, 19 almost, and he's got the BKB, the Basher, Manta, and Battle Fury. Like, he is very close to at least 4 full slots for the end game. Like, the Skull Bash will be an Abyssal, they'll look at BOTs instead of Treads, and they'll probably look at Butterfly as another item to pick up. But right now, just getting a nice little BKB on the Dragonite, keeping that bottled up, they're able to execute very well with some really quick damage and send Polar packing. Now, there is no follow-up, there is no Roach, there is no even tier 2 siege. That's kind of surprising to me, because they did just force out that BKB from Illidan and send him all the way back to base. But at the same time, that's mostly because of the Bloodstone. Phobos is just respawning very, very quickly with those charges, but now down to 4, it's more manageable. He's still going to have a 40-second death timer, even with those 4 charges, and that might be a timing window enough for Alliance to actually take an objective after getting a kill. It's kind of the reverse Necrophos effect.
Ooh, AM blinks from the high ground in hopes of getting straight into the pit without being seen whatsoever. Alliance, they have no idea. They're busy doing something else. They smoke up and they're looking to scavenge right through enemy territory and see if they can catch anyone, but look who it is. There they are. They might end up catching each other here. Oh, the smoke's gonna be popped. Misery fires back, and they make their move, jump through with the fissure. First chakram flies out, but they already take down Puck just like that. Mystic Flare follow, but the BKB's already popped. They're happy to go toe-to-toe. Now AM does finish off the road, grabs the Aegis for himself, but they already lose 3. Gets caught with the Dragon Tail. Nice jump through from 8-Mother with that Blink Dagger, and they already take down the first life. Now, can they lock him in place? He pops his BKB, and now he turns back on the Loda. Oh, the Mana Void AoE is enough to quickly take down Misery, and now Loda scouts out for those illusions and already on the way out is Illidan, just taking, once again, one support and retreating out. But not done yet. Sees Bulldog, all is lonesome. Stuns him in his place. He's just going to right-click him down. Easy chase. Oh.
Yeah, this is
oh
the blink dagger. 2-1.
Oh my! You got to be kidding me. Turns the corner, makes his way, and Illidan has no idea.
Yeah, that was so close. But yeah, he's gonna be able to get out of here. But I'm not even sure why he blinked down to into the Radiant jungle there. Like, obviously he feels confident enough with the BKB up to 1v5, and I guess the blink DK just kind of caught him off guard with the instant Dragon Tail. So maybe that's it. I mean, like, he could have even like manta'd to try to break Dragon Knight's targeting if he saw that coming. But I don't think he knew about the blink at the time, and he just didn't think the enemy could keep pace with him. So he almost walked into trouble. He got the blink out, and then they just were able to follow him through. So in this case, we still see the power of Illidan, that he can definitely get a kill or two in a 1v5 situation as long as the BKB's up. But actually going on Ake, good timing.
They don't see Loda pass. They make the jump on Ake, and Ake just kind of catches up with Loda and makes his swift escape. That could have gone a lot worse if he happened to get a bash right there at the start. But Illidan not going to be so thankful for the RNG this time. He's going to have to step back, and still Virtus.Pro. This is their opportunity to kind of open up. They did lose that skirmish there at the bottom, even after Illidan secured the Roche for himself and a little bit extra gold for everyone. Loses the Aegis promptly after, so they don't have the benefit of that extra life on their anti-mage like they were hoping for. And, well, Alliance finding their own bit of farm on their side and kind of taking through the enemy jungle here. I mean, what's the next step? I mean, it looks like Misery's actually managed to almost pull together his own Blink Dagger, so now your Earthshaker can get a little more involved into the fray without having to throw himself way into the heat of the battle.
I think that the mechanism coming out for Wisp is even bigger than the Earthshaker Blink Dagger. Like, Earthshaker is a completely new hero with Blink. It's absolutely insane, but this Wisp mechanism is giving them a lot too. Right now it brings Ake's armor up to 8 instead of 3, so he's not just going to get completely destroyed by Anti-Mage's illusions. As well, for those that don't know the numbers, when you're tethered to a target and Ake is injured, he's going to be able to heal the Dragon Knight or the Slark for 625 HP through the mechanism. This is how tether regen works in an AoE fashion, so very powerful. He can go Soul Ring, Magic Stick, Bottle, Mech, all this good stuff, and he can keep the Slark fighting. And that's the important thing, because as he builds up the Essence Shift stacks, he gets more attack speed, gets more bashes, and just gets more powerful. He just needs to survive, and the Mech will allow him to do that.
And on the side of the item progression here for Virtus.Pro, your support, Ogre Magi, he's got his point booster. He's trying to get towards that Agnum Scepter point, but being as a selfless a support as he's been, it's going to be a long road for him to try to get to that point. But meanwhile, Puck, this guy's Perseverance already, it looks like it's going to be a Linken's grab here. And all that meanwhile, top lane, they just get a nice quick kill right there, unfortunately, on Illidan. That kill takes him out, and he has no buyback for 80 seconds.
He went for a 1v1 play with this freshly picked up Abyssal, thought he could outsmart his opponent and catch them off guard, and instead he's the one that gets ganked on. That's just, you can't make that kind of play happen with these Blink Daggers. You have 4 Blinks against you. Everybody but Ake is boasting a Blink Dagger, and they're able to get to that fight and counteract that play. He just really disrespected Alliance there, and they punished him for it heavily. 50 seconds on the death timer, the push comes in.
Oh, it's really on Virtus.Pro to kind of slow them down at this point, but Phobos immediately gets caught out, stunned, and locked down, and he goes. He also has no buyback, and that was pretty much one of their best hopes as far as slowing the roll here of Alliance. And now they can just kind of go to town on this Tier 3 tower. It's going to be forced to pull out the Glyph. And they need to use all they can to stop them from coming in, because they still have 30 seconds before AM is going to be back and ready in fighting form. And even at that point, it could be too late here as they take the tower now down to a half-life position. Now DK does not have his Dragon Form to help out, but they certainly take it down. Loda now opens up, and this could be a set of racks here for Alliance. Still need another 13 seconds for AM, and it looks like it will be the first set of racks claimed here.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
So, I mean, there's not much to say about it. With all Bloodstone charges, with the Anti-Mage already farmed to level 22, pickoffs like that are of the most critical import, and Alliance are able to capitalize on that in full. They'll be looking towards a Roche in 3 to 6 minutes. Actually, we see the timer analog, bottom right corner. That is going to be just under 6 minutes. So a very long respawn time, unfortunately, for Alliance. But even still, they gained a lot of momentum off of that top racks takedown, and it's really full disrespect from VP.Polar. They underestimate the range of initiation on Alliance when they have 4 Blink Daggers. They're like, okay, I've got Blink, I've got Timber Chain, I can escape. But when you have 3 people instantly on top of you, you just can't play like that.
No, you can't get overzealous in this play. I mean, he moves in, he sees Misery, quickly abyssals him down and takes him out. Now, forced to pop his BKB. Loda kind of bounces up to the high ground. Don't know if it was intended or not, but Illidan's going to be right there to blink towards his area. And now on the back end with BKB down, he needs to find a way to get out of here safely. He has no TP. He's going to end up going down again.
This is just what I said. Huge disrespect. That's the high-risk, low-reward play. Killing off an Earthshaker that already has BOT Blink. You can chat wheel space created all day long, but in the end, you're only getting farm on a bunch of non-core heroes. Like, Puck's not going to progress that much. In fact, the items that Scandal's invested into is for the betterment of the anti-mage. You put the Lincolns on the AM to keep them alive. This isn't enhancing Scandal's farm. It's just feeding your own life away, and it might cost them another lane if VP.Polar don't play this next fight perfectly.
And this time, thankfully, AM has a buyback available if necessary, but this secures his tier 2 tower with ease. But yeah, I don't know, Illidan sipping on the Havos Kool-Aid apparently this game. That's 2 different times. He's just kind of getting a little too far out there and ends up handing over his own life for next to nothing and at the expense of their own base. Now again, they might be under siege. They could even consider forcing out this buyback if they want, but it looks like they're going to second-guess any sort of engagement. If they can catch out the Timbersaw again, that would be the best-case scenario for them. Is double Chakram now going to come out, and there's the wave clearing. And I think Alliance, with that being seen, and only 20 seconds to go on their AM, they're going to end up pulling out.
You know, Illidan usually states that he's blind, not deaf, but in this case, I don't know if it might be a little bit of both. Like, he doesn't seem to perceive what Alliance are capable of when he goes into these moves. Like, he's playing the personified hero here. He's running the anti-mage, which Warcraft 3 model was Illidan, but he just seems to be playing too senselessly. Like, he really needs to shape up, or this is going to cost him the game. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't already, considering he is level 23. It's a long death timers, but luckily VP.Polar can turtle it up just a little bit. And as I mentioned, that Roche respawn is really long. So VP.Polar are still in this game, but they cannot make any more mistakes like that.
And with those mistakes has made the biggest net worth lead of the game thus far. Alliance now at the 8K mark and quickly rising for them as they begin to strut down this bottom lane. Here comes a bit of a counterplay here. Illidan jumping forward, popping his BKB, but still going to be doomed up nonetheless. But looking to fire back. The reload Kanake is immediately handled, but now they open up on the Ogre. A support for a support to lead things off. Still in hot pursuit. Loda jumps forward, can't get a hold of Puck, who puts at the Lincoln's end blink away. And Phobos trying to slow him down with Chakram, gets caught out with a nice echo follow-up from Misery, allows them to finish off that Timber. And it's still Alliance who are steamrolling through this bottom lane with 2 down with no buyback.
Radiant's bottom
AM
tower is under attack.
going to be forced on his own here with already low life. Your tier 3 under pressure as Loda takes point. And the support cast of Alliance sweep on through this Dragon at level 3. Get some early shots in on this tower. Dragonform still has a fair amount of time to work with. Illidan jumps in. He needs to make a commitment happen. He goes for a Loda, brings him down pretty low, but a nice save sends him to the low ground. And he can't finish what he started. Tier 3 ends up falling, and Alliance pull out at this point. They get big rewards in this one.
Misery lives with 50 HP off of a bottle sip from Ape Mother. Gives them the bottle, and the Earthshaker barely lives from an Arcane Bolt chasing him down. And it's about to be a SNK situation where he's running for his life from something he cannot escape, but luckily that heal comes out, and yeah, they're going to be able to back off without losing too much there. They've still taken tier 3s. They've obviously broken down the top lane.
Radiant's middle tower is
I
under
still
attack.
see some potential here for Anti-Mage. Like, he obviously can do a lot of work with the farm that he has, but they've given Smart so many windows of opportunity to build up his farm to catch up to this Anti-Mage. It used to be a 50% net worth advantage for the Anti-Mage, and now they're tied up. It really feels like we're rehearsing Jaws here.
Radiant's
so
middle
Lotus
tower
ready to
is
pounce
under
in
attack.
so many of these situations.
Virtus.Pro scouting out the Roche area, seeing it's not up yet. It's going to be about another 1.5 to 2 minutes, it looks like, before it's up and at the ready. So they'll be waiting a long time for this one. And Alliance know, based on the timer, it's about to be that Roche time. So we could see a lot of lingering around this area, a lot of timid play. Because another sour fight here for Virtus.Pro could quickly cost them their base. And Alliance, if they make the wrong kind of a play, can really open up this AM to coming back into this one, but already going the aggressive with a smoke up and at the ready. Alliance blaze their trail through the top part of this lane. They are going to end up right behind Virtus.Pro Polar right here. And Loda knows it,
Radiant's
pushes in.
middle tower
Oh, does
is
miss the
under
pounce,
attack.
however, but with that Dragon Tail, they quickly take down one. They're going for Phobos. They're looking to take down the Timber. Timber hits the deck. Now they're stuck, straggled in the midst of a fight they don't really want to take as Illidan pulls out his BKB, is on the hunt, but Loda simply kites it back, and now they go for a re-engagement onto this puck. Puck falls just like that. Ogre to hit the deck as well will take down 4 all day. And now your little anti-mage, who was busy going out on his own previously, is now stuck on his own, trying to defend out his base because his team has no buyback whatsoever to come back and help defend, and that allows Loda to quickly finish his bottom set of racks. Only one more to stand, which they're going for, and I think this is it. Virtus.Pro could be throwing in the towel any moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Radiant
about to be looking at mega creeps. They can try to make a play with 2, maybe 3 heroes, but it's about to drop. Loda has plenty of right-click camps coming out from the Essence, and the Butterfly, he's got critical mass. They just handed it to him, to the point that I really feel this game was lost by VP.Polar more so than it was won by Alliance. I hate to say it, but Illidan making his last stand here, and he falls again. There is no chance.
Oh, Echo right in front of your fountain. Locks Illidan in place, who's already silenced, can't blink home, is able to still walk himself in, but still, it's Alliance just kind of taking what they can. The women and children are next as they kind of sweep on through and clean out. Even Phobos straggling behind, gets caught out by Misery right there. Misery ends up falling, but still, it's Loda coming out big. Double kill for him as they finish. Polar just really making it work for it, however. They want to not tap out, but Illidan does go down. They call the GG, and that wraps it up. Alliance, they needed to win bad. I mean, with this loss, it would have been just their tournament life quickly over, given that they still have quite the road ahead of them, are going to be clinching on to only a tiebreaker opportunity. Nice play from them, and unfortunately with a few reckless plays coming out from the side of Virtus.Pro, though you can make the argument without their Goblet captain being on hand, it kind of made them not perform at optimal level, but still, props to Alliance for getting the job done.
Yeah, gonna bring back my old segment here that I used to do in solo casting. Commend and report. Easy job here. Commend Loda, report Illidan, go next. My gosh, that was a win that Alliance could have taken without the throws, but with it, they just got it handed to him. That was really difficult to watch from Illidan. I mean, maybe if he doesn't make those plays happen, he still takes it to the late game and they do well, but I just really loved how Alliance were able to build off their Midases into tons of kills, and they took advantage of the opportunities that Illidan gave to them. They pursued, they got all these great blink daggers, and they showed that even the most mobile of heroes can be dropped down.
Absolutely, and with that said, in the end of that one, this puts Alliance up to a 3-6 record. For Virtus.Pro, Polar, they do get dropped down now to 5-4, still kind of in the midst, in the middle area of that bread and butter kind of tiebreaker area. Alliance still trying to climb their way up. We do have 4 more matchups, 4 or 5, 5 more matchups actually, coming your way with a total of 7 best of ones. Our next matchup going to be a nice one here. It's going to be Na'Vi taking on Empire. That's actually going to be coming up here in about 7 minutes time, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and quickly jump out of this one and hop into our next lobby. A pleasure as always. If you like what you heard, catch me over on my Twitter at CoddleGuy, and my fantastic co-caster Blaze. Catch him over on his Twitter at BlazeCasting. A pleasure as always. We'll be back in just a hot second.